Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's special podcast episode. I am Atmaj.
And I'm Jaza. Today we are honored to have with us Mr. Abhimanyu Das Gupta, a well-known name in the IB world both in India and globally. He has played leadership roles since 2011, ranging from that of a grade level coordinator, a PYP coordinator, to being the head of primary, and is now excited to lead as the deputy head of school at Manav Rachna International School.
Sir Abhimanyu has been an IB member since 2011 and an online workshop leader since 2013, donning the hats of workshop facilitator, online and face-to-face, team member and team leader, program leader and school consultant. He is also an evaluator for the micro-credential courses offered by the IB and the IBEC faculty member.
Sir Abhimanyu, you've led IB programs in multiple campuses. Over the last decade, what shifts in learners' mindsets have you observed in terms of agency, inquiry, and global mindedness?
Right, thank you for asking that question to me. And I think as I was interacting with students from your school today, I could see again something that I've noticed in the last 5 to 10 years is that students already have a lot of agency. They have a lot of independent thinking going on. They have a mind of their own. They know what they want. They know the way they want to do things. They know how best they can learn. And I think as educators, it's our challenge to be able to cater to that freedom of choice, the voice that students want. And I think with that, also there's been a lot of exposure that they receive about what's happening across the world. So their awareness of global issues, of what's happening in their country or what's happening outside their country is much more than before. And that is why I think students are much more thoughtful today, and they're already facing a lot of challenges, a lot of problems in their daily life, which I think they are burning with a desire to solve.
Thank you, sir, for your response. You've worked extensively across PYP, MYP, and DP. How do you see the continuity of learning development from the primary years all the way to the diploma years?
Right. So, yeah, I've been fortunate to also be a parent to an IB student who's gone through the continuum. And I think what the IB does is that it has brought in a lot of alignment between the three programs. So though PYP is more transdisciplinary, MYP it is more interdisciplinary, and in the diploma it is more disciplinary, but the learner profile kind of strings it all together. The focus on inquiry and conceptual understanding also brings it all together. So when a student starts off in the PYP looking at sharing the planet, they revisit that through the sciences and through global perspectives, and then explore it even with a subject like ESS in the diploma. And the ultimate mission of the IB is to really create lifelong learners, students who care about the world, about life, about the society. And I think the three programs have that common backbone where the learning encourages students to take action in a meaningful way in their own real world.
Yeah, that's a truly insightful answer. And you've built strong professional communities in the schools you've led. What strategies did you find the most effective to create an environment and a culture where teachers can learn together, grow together, and collaborate together?
Right. I think I always say this, that when I moved into leadership, there was not much transition for me because as a leader, it's like I have a classroom of adults as students. Yeah. And the way I would set up a democratic work environment in my classroom, I would empower every child. I would utilize their strengths, their skills and abilities. I have done the same when I worked with adults or with teachers. And I think that kind of personal connect with the team members and relationship building. I think relationship building is today a much needed skill that people need to develop and work on, because we are all living in a world where we are over reliant on a gadget, or we don't have strong family connections, or we have a very limited social circle. So then when we create those bonds of trust, friendship and collegiality at our workplace, where I think everyone spends more than 8 hours every day with those people, you are naturally able to bring out the best in everyone. So I've always believed in that.
Thank you, sir, for a great response. Can you share a memorable example where a student's voice either transformed the school's learning or culture?
Okay, so when we were looking at, in a previous school in Bombay, we were looking at the environmental impact of bursting crackers on different kinds of plants and animals. And these were very young students, they were grade 1 students. And one of them said that, I've seen the dogs in my community get scared. And I really want people to be aware. And can I do a campaign? And it was from the child's own personal experience. And then, of course, the teacher encouraged them. And that campaign became then a class-wide campaign, and then became a school-wide campaign, where all the students of the class created one poster encouraging all their peers to take a pledge for not bursting firecrackers during Diwali, to celebrate a really green Diwali. And because the campaign became so big and these children were burning with this passion to go to each and every person and tell them this message, because they were so upset seeing the animals scared or seeing the plants get burnt, that they really had that fire in them, and the school just supported them. And eventually it became a school-wide campaign, and ever since the school has had the tradition where every Diwali the students take that pledge across the school community not to burst firecrackers. So I think that is the power of one thought, one child's desire, or one child's own experience where they want to make a difference. And if the school can support that and their friends can support that, then it can become a movement. And that is really the difference of one. Yeah, so that was memorable for me.
That's truly heartwarming. And as we look ahead, what emerging competencies do you believe that IB schools must nurture to prepare students for the future?
Right. So I think I shared this morning also with teachers a 5-word letter, an acronym called ERASE. We need to develop these qualities even in our learners, because the world is changing very rapidly and there's a lot of mess. Yeah, whether it's in the environment, whether it's the way people interact with each other, or whether it's in our levels of tolerance. So to be able to be successful in that kind of a world, I think we need these 5 elements. So ERASE is the acronym. So E for empathy, R for resilience. That means never giving in to problems, never giving up. A for agility. That means the ability to adapt to unfamiliar situations. Today, if something happens, do I have the skills to adapt and know what to do next rather than wait to be told? And S for, what was it for S? ERAS, skills. We need a lot of skills, whether it's communication, research, thinking, self-management, and all these skills, even with technology, even with team building, those kind of skills. And at the end, we also need a very strong code of ethics. Yeah, ethics means knowing what is right and wrong and being able to stand up for the right thing to do. So if we have these 5 qualities that can be developed in both adults and children, the world will be a better place.
Thank you, sir, for your heartwarming response. Resilience is becoming one of the most essential life skills. Could you suggest some strategies schools and parents can use to help students build resilience?
Right. So one of the strategies that I always believe in and encourage is that everyone should feel safe to make mistakes. Yeah. I think as an adult, we know how many mistakes we have made in our lives, and every time we learn something new. So it's not a big deal if you make a mistake. It's a big deal if you don't want to reflect on your mistake, if you don't want to correct your mistake. But making a mistake is a natural part of learning. And that helps build resilience. When you feel safe to make mistakes, you're learning, growing, you're becoming resilient as an individual, as a learner. At the same time, how do we deal with disappointments? That is something that needs to be taught at school and encouraged, especially in a world where there's so much competition. You can always never be the first one. You can always never win the gold medal. You can always never be in the limelight. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the disappointment that you might have thought, oh, I ran so hard, I worked so much to be, the first one to win the race, but I couldn't do it. I came fourth. Yeah? Is that a defeat? To me, it isn't. Because the effort you made to get there is what really counts in real life. People don't really look at what you have, what grades you have got in your class 10, class 12. They see today, what can you do? What is the quality you have? What is the personality you have? And that is why it's really important for us to be able to deal with disappointments, brush ourselves, pick ourselves up and say, oh, I can do it. I'm going to try harder. Yeah. So these two are essential elements of resilience that I think we need to practice more in schools. Yeah.
Sir, before I ask the final question, can you just elaborate a bit more on the point how we can deal with disappointments, because some people don't really reflect on their mistakes and they feel disappointed.
Yes. So you have raised a very important point. I think reflection should be an integral part of our life at school and even in our real life, because it's only when we reflect do we also see where I could have done better, or where I could have done something differently, or I could have approached it from a different strategy. So I think reflection goes hand in hand in resilience. But at the same time, it's really important to have a trusted network of friends and well-wishers. Yeah. So if you have a group of friends who can motivate you when you don't make it to the top, who can tell you, hey, it's okay, we are going to get over it. Come, let's go for a quick snack break to the canteen and have some fun. Yeah, and who can cheer you up. You need a lot of cheerleaders. Yeah, so that is why it's important to build good friendships where you can count on friends who can be by your side when times are not easy. Yeah, and that I think helps everyone. I mean, it's true for adults too. We all need good friends.
That's an insightful answer. And finally, if there is one thing every educator should rethink, unlearn or re-examine, what would that be?
That's a very, very tricky question. Because I think educators today, especially working in an IB school, are doing a lot of rethinking, unlearning, relearning. But I think as an educator, we always need to think about what kind of a role model am I becoming? How am I dealing with my own life's challenges? How do I respond to difficulties? How do I deal with disappointments? Because only when an educator has gone through that own inner human revolution, can they bring it out in their students? Can they encourage a child saying that, it's okay, even I tried to run the half marathon, but I couldn't finish it. So it's okay if you didn't make it to the race. Yeah, they need those personal experiences themselves to be able to get children to go through those experiences, to be able to develop empathy in children, resilience in children, skills in children, ethics in children. So they need to demonstrate those same qualities first and work on them their own personalities, work on their own challenges, work on, sometimes a teacher might say, I'm very bad at teaching maths, I can't teach maths. And there are many students who feel the same way. So when that teacher overcomes her fear of maths and learns a bit and tries to teach it, that encourages that child who probably finds it challenging, because then there's an example of someone who's dealt with the same challenge and has won over it. So I think teachers have that responsibility to really develop themselves as human beings, because then only can we develop you all as great learners. Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Abhimanyu, for such thoughtful insights. We've learned so much about how learners grow across the IB continuum and how schools can prepare for the future.
Your perspectives on student voice and teacher learning were truly inspiring, and we're so grateful you could join us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in.
We'll be back with another inspiring conversation soon. Till then, stay reflective, stay curious, and keep learning.